Hi, it's Double1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on Xbox One. Today I am bringing you Escape Evasion guide. This will work on any platform. Basically, I'm going to talk about how to escape and evade in Elite Dangerous. This is part 2. Part 1 I did an introduction where I explained a few things and basically said high wake at all times. As much as possible, high wake, high wake, high wake. Because you don't get mass locked when you high wake. So when you jump to another system, you don't get mass locked. When you jump or try and jump up into Super Cruise, you do get mass locked. That is simply rule 1. And that was all I covered in the first video, because that is how much of an important lesson it is. Now we're on to the second video, and I'll start with an apology. I tried to get footage of me being interdicted and escaping and evading it, but even though I ran the CG for hours, I only got interdicted twice, and they both failed to interdict me before I could even submit. So that was good. I also might have failed to land a couple of times, but you know, it's all fun. Anyway, what I'm going to talk about today is, firstly, ship builds. Now this one is the one I get most disagreement over. People always tell me you should run shieldless to get more cargo space. I don't say that at all. I'm like, make sure you got shield boosters. Make sure if you're in a big ship, you got a point defense and a heat sink. If you're in a smaller ship, chaff is very useful. In a Type 9, don't bother with the chaff. You want the heat sink to stop and target in your modules, and the point defense to stop hatchbreaker limpets and possibly that horrible grom bomb. Now with thrusters, I should have double braced on there. I don't, but you never worry about speed with a Type 9. You're always looking to double brace, strengthen and double brace. That way you'll be stronger. Me, I haven't because I'm lazy, but you should have drive strengthening with double brace. That's the best thing to do. FSD, now I use increased FSD, but if you want to be safe, fast charge FSD will protect you against grom bombs, but it's a big sacrifice when it comes to jump range. I generally find I don't get grom bombed enough to warrant it, and I have a point defense for that. As for shields, I always go for the second largest slot in my ship. This is very simply how I roll when it comes to trade ships. I will accept us 2 steps down in something like a cutter, because I know you can get reasonable shields out of a Type 6 shield, but on the whole, the rule of thumb is second highest internal module should be your shields. That's the way I go. Now when you're trucking, always make sure that you have your crimes on, and always make sure you have your location, the bottom on that side, turned off. It'll make you slightly harder for people to track, and the last thing you want is when you've jumped out once to suddenly be pursued again. So we'll talk about that in more detail in a bit. On the whole, you know, you'll be alright because you'll be jumping much further. Now because I wanted to get interdicted, I turned my location on because I wanted to get interdicted and attacked for examples for you guys. Unfortunately, the community on Xbox let me down with their inadequate griefing. So I found a community goal, I went to do it. Now, one thing to consider when you're looking at anything you're doing, any task, any community goal, any high cell site, is make sure it's not anarchy. There are many reasons why you should try and avoid trading in anarchy systems, or at least accepting there's a higher risk when trading in anarchy systems. You can get rammed to death inside a station in an anarchy system. The station offers no protection at all. Unless the station is shot, it won't respond. So be very wary of anarchy systems. I know this from experience, as I was a pirate, and anarchy systems are hilarious. You can literally hatchbreaker people in the slot. So always look around the area where you're going, look what players are on your friends list that are around there, and then realize how dangerous or safe it's going to be. Now me, I'm quite happy to plod around in my Type 9. It's got quite decent shields on there, as you saw. They're 7A prismatics with 2 boosters, with 4 pips capped to them. It's plenty enough to take a couple of volleys before I jump out. I'm only in serious threat if someone brings a grom bomb, and to be honest, they're not that common. Gankers tend not to use them because they have to give up a hard point, which means they have to give up DPS. Pirates sometimes use them, but the key is don't panic. It switches off your FSD, but your FSD will turn back on again. Now, I mentioned earlier, fast charge FSD is a way around this because your FSD charges up so much quicker, but when I talk about charging up, it's just the module switching on. That's the charge up time they're talking about. It does not in any way, shape or form make your jump to hyperspace any quicker. So you still have the same countdown, the same timer. It just literally takes less time for that module to turn on from being turned off. So when it's disabled from a Grom bomb, it switches on quicker. There is a lot of people that misconceive that. The reason I use one on my FDL, for example, is because quite often when people are trying to secure that kill in PvP, you get Grommed and it can be death. It's very good on big combat ships, but on the whole, as a trader, I've never found the need for it. I've never found people to be that intent on like ganking me or griefing me. Maybe now, but back when I'm making this video, I didn't get attacked that much by people with Grom bombs. Now here I've got an example at least of preemptively jumping away. So I see Gladius, Gladius sees me, I'm in an unarmed type 6, which is very fast but very weak. He's in a plasma phase, which is very slow but incredibly powerful. One volley of those PAs will probably strip my shields. Take 3 volleys I think to kill me, but I am taking a risk because I'm in a weaponless type 6. Never the greatest ideas, but I choose to jump before he even gets behind me. This is called preemptive escape, and I suggest that you're using it as a tactic. If you're going somewhere and you spot a ganker like in front of you, why wait till he's interdicting you to jump away? As you can see here, by the time my FSD is charged, he gets behind me, he tries to interdict me, but it fails automatically because I've already jumped. That dumps him into normal space and annoys the hell out of him. Like, why even try to escape when you can just preemptively jump away? If you see or recognize a threat, don't be scared to jump. Now, I've got some other examples for you. I didn't manage to get anyone who interdict me properly. I had a couple of people attempt. Here's a station gank around a station. Now, at a security station or a high security station, this is not a worry, because if they attack you in the no fire zone, they're going to get wanted and the station's going to blow them up. All they can really do is ram at you, and if you put 4 pips to shields and have decent shields like I suggest, you will survive this sort of thing. If you're in a shieldless ship, 4 guys ramming you are going to kill you quite quickly. The main thing to do here is to keep flight assist on, because you don't want to be spun all over the place, and just calmly, serenely wake away. Do not panic. This is one of the most vital things in any escape or evade situation. Just do not panic. No matter what happens, no matter how hot your ship gets, no matter if your shields go down, just don't panic. Just concentrate on what you've got to do, which is jump away, get out of the situation. That's really all it's about. So my tips for today are: run shields, don't panic, always look to high wake, and that's where we're up to. I will try and get you a good example of me escaping actual interdictions when someone actually interdicts me. It is quite embarrassing that IED can't interdict. Considering they're the cops, they should be able to pull people over. There is one thing though I did which annoys them. So when I arrive in system, I drop to a very slow speed, so I disappear off their radar, and I hug the sun. And then I look in local in the top left hand panel to see what ships are around. That allowed me to see there was a cutter at the star, so when I broke for the station, I knew a cutter was likely to be trying to interdict me soon. It's quite a valid tactic to hug the star so you can check in local to see what's about. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't someone who was sensible with his interdiction, so I couldn't get an example how to evade. So hopefully I'll get that for part 3. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching.